whoever wins, it's gonna be crazy afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
It has not been crazy at all.
Other than the 43 monkeys who have escaped from the South Carolina research facility.
Oh my gosh, World War III. Here it comes.
Am I willing to risk my life for the United States?
I had sleep paralysis a lot when I was young, like shadow moshes is what I would call them. It's back to the roots.
Yeah, I miss wearing hats.
You don't wear hats anymore?
Well, because of the man bun. And then it's like if you take the man bun out, then it's like it's really long right now. So.
Have you ever done the man bun through the hole in the hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I used to do.
You feel kind of like a girl, don't you?
I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That's how I used to wear it all the time, especially at Evil Check. Or I wore bandanas at Evil Check, so it was a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
Bandanas.
Yeah.
I can do the backwards cap and then just like make a really low bun, and that works like underneath the.
Yeah, that's what
underneath the
Caleb does
cap.
at work now. You know,
Yeah.
you see my.
Yeah, I just saw him today.
Yeah.
Can you show up?
He works there now. Isn't that
He
crazy?
works at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
I was wondering if he still worked there. I saw him like his first day, and then I haven't seen him
He
since.
only does like he only does like 1.5 days a week.
That's cool.
Okay,
You know what
gotcha.
I mean? Because he still works at FedEx at the airport in the morning. So
On the FedEx grind.
That's cool.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to. Sorry, I interrupted you. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Roots. Joined
back.
today with Jared and Carter. We're
Yes,
missing
sir.
Sam because he's
Swap 'em out.
in Europe.
Europe or something.
Sam is.
But that's
in Europe.
okay because last time y'all missed me, and now we're doing a little swapsies.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And
was
we
fun.
did miss you a lot, and I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad you guys
Yeah.
missed me. I'm glad it was
A disaster
a
without you.
catastrophe without me.
It was bad.
It was fun. It was a good time. It just kind of fell apart
Yeah.
toward the end.
Multiple points in the beginning, in the end,
Yeah,
but in the middle was nice.
The beginning
That's
and
good.
the end. What was the middle?
It was fun.
I can't remember.
Oh, the middle was nice.
Yeah,
The title was Diddy dapping and the dry cleaning.
Dry clean.
Already
Which
not
dry
great.
cleaning we talked about kind of at the beginning, and then Diddy and dapping was just like at the end,
Just real quick,
when
right.
things fell apart.
Diddy and dapping? Are you saying Diddy and
the same.
dapping? Like dapping?
Yeah, like
Oh,
dapping.
Oops.
Because we were talking separately. They were separate topics.
I was about to say. I don't
But it
know
was like-
how that.
How do you what do you do?
Yeah.
Just let's go back listen to the last episode if
Yeah,
if
right.
you want to know, and just skip to
If
the
you
end.
want to know,
Yeah,
you have
Carter.
to. Yeah. Add
Listen to our
to
last
add to the
episode.
listens.
Speaking of dapping and your hands, what happened to your hand? It looks like it's in shambles.
I have 5 stitches in my hand right now.
What did you do?
In my bathroom, there is a very low, like our bathroom ceiling is fairly lower than the rest of the house
Uh-huh.
for some reason.
Okay.
And we have, like, it looks like one of those. Like the light bulb is like coming through and it's exposed, but if you put like something cute to like
Yeah, like
cover the
dome.
display.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the one that was put on it by our previous or whoever put it up is like a diamond shape and it's not as up. It's more like laying low. And I was like, I was taking off my shirt or something. I was like about to go to bed and I am taking off my shirt like from the back and I go like this whoosh, and I punched it really
Just
hard.
sliced your hand open.
Yeah. You want to see a picture of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah. I got 5 stitches. It's not,
dude.
I'll work on a new story to tell because that's not quite cool enough.
Yeah.
I was going to bed, and you know those light fixtures on the ceiling? Ooh,
It's pretty chunky.
that is chunky.
Oh my
Did it
goodness.
mess up the tattoos?
I
you
actually think maybe like one line, but
Okay.
that's
That's
okay.
It adds to it.
Yeah,
It
that's
adds to it, yeah.
part of the art.
She's like, now you got a cool scar. I was like, I already got a couple. I don't want
more of those.
I don't. This is such a. We also got home at 3:30 in the morning,
Oy.
and I would have. And like, it's having a hard time healing because I'm constantly like, I'm at the bakery, so I'm like whisking stuff and like I'm making like move my hands constantly.
Man,
When was this?
Beginning of, like Sunday or Monday
Okay,
or something.
okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
not too long ago.
I didn't remember. I saw you there at the coffee shop, but I didn't remember seeing your hand.
Yeah,
I did see you drinking on the clock, though.
I was clocked out.
You were
I
clocked
was
out?
at work.
You were
but-
behind the counter.
yeah.
Yeah, well.
That's where all the free drinks are.
Yeah. Yeah, the coffee shop that I worked at is closed now, so I can say that. But
Yeah.
I would put bourbon in my chai tea latte at the end of the day. It was amazing.
Dude.
That sounds really good. I've
was
put
amazing.
I've put a shot of bullet bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, bullet bourbon.
I put a shot of that in cold brew, and that's really good.
yeah.
I love that so much.
I basically.
And what I
like
was saying
bourbon
earlier,
in anything.
I put a little shot of Captain Morgan because we have apple cider just for the holidays. I warm up apple cider and put a little shot of Captain Morgan in it. It's like a spiced cider rum. That's usually how my Saturdays go. I get done pretty early and have a couple ciders and then go home, take a nap.
That sounds nice. Sounds really nice.
Sound nice.
Yep. Then I cut my hand on my ceiling light bulb.
That's very eventful.
Do you have decent insurance, or was that like?
I got insurance 1 month ago. By the grace of God.
Let's
Perfect
go.
timing. I'm so happy. My parents too.
That's something I'm figuring out now as I'm starting to go to the doctor just more often and having to pay for it on my own. I'm like, I understand
Are you
insurance.
just paying straight up? Oh,
So I have one of those Christian share programs.
yeah, right.
So technically it's out of pocket, but if you pay out past your deductible, then you put a thing in on the website and then people send you money directly.
Gotcha.
So it's funky, but it's the lowest, like,
Right.
what's the monthly cost called? It's the
Payment?
lowest monthly payment, but it has a specific, it has a specific name.
Oh.
So the deductible is what you pay when you go in.
The premium?
The premium.
That's
it
it.
has the lowest premium
sold
that I could
insurance.
find.
That's fair.
You sold insurance?
Yeah, it's the worst 2 months of my entire life.
Where did you sell insurance at?
In between my last kitchen job and second of Maine, I sold insurance for about 2 months.
Oh, I remember that.
And it was very difficult. Imagine hearing a knock on your door and you open the door and it's me. And especially with my long hair down to my waist, tattoos on my knuckle. I'm like, hey, you want to buy something from me?
You want to buy insurance? You're gonna need it.
Yeah, you're going to need it. It literally, they thought I was threatening them. I was door-to-door salesman for final expense insurance.
Wow.
Which is not just regular insurance. It's like old people who are like about to die.
I feel like I remember you saying this now. Yeah.
I don't talk about it a lot because it was such like a little blip in my like existence. It was like 2 months of time, so I forget about it sometimes. But
Dang.
it was awful. Like I didn't care about it at all.
Yeah.
And I woke up every morning super, super early, got home super, super late, and I didn't care about it. And I was like exhausting myself or something. But I'm glad that I tried it, so I have the confirmation that that's something I would never want to try again.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted right now. I work 60 hours in like 5-ish days.
Jeez.
But like I'm very, very happy because I like all the people I'm around and I'm doing something that like I feel like I care about.
Yeah.
So a very nice trade-off. Very nice trade-off. Never selling insurance again. That was awful.
That's good.
I have pictures like in the mirror with my insurance like t-shirt on. Like
What company was it?
I don't know if I can I say that?
I think so. I don't see why not.
Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance.
I haven't even heard of them.
Yeah.
But I'm not an old person about to die.
Maybe
so.
maybe yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
If I was about, I think I've heard of Lincoln Heritage. Yes, they're in my search history right here.
So I
Because
see
I'm
you,
dying.
I see you walking back and forth from the kitchen to the coffee shop.
Yeah, where the heck do you guys go to? You just walk away and come back with food.
We have
Explain
a
that.
commissary kitchen up the street. Do you know where that old pizza shop used to be up the street?
No.
Yeah.
Do you know where the oddity store is?
No.
Do you know where Luminous
Vinny's.
or not
No,
Luminous?
Vinny's chocolate
No.
is on the corner.
Oh,
Oh,
you know
yeah,
where
yeah,
Vinny's
yeah.
chocolate? We're
Oh,
attached.
out from
that's not a
downtown.
pizza place anymore?
Yeah.
Vinny's chocolate is a chocolate shop.
Yeah.
The pizza spot that used to be there
Pine
once.
Street Pizza back in the day.
Something like that. The guy who owns the coffee shop, they bought that kitchen space to do all of our own pastries.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
for the first year we bought the owner's brother owns what's it called? Divine Dough, who does cinnamon rolls, donuts,
like-
and a few other little pastry stuff. So we would just get stuff from him. But now once we had like our enough space to like, I don't know, flex out, he got that and we rented out to other people in the area who like don't have a spot. Like the guy who makes our teas just does like farmers market stuff, and he doesn't have a space to like spread out and make a bunch of stuff like big products. So people like him and other people will like rent our space and like kind of pay for our space and also get their product made and sell their product. So they're making a lot more because they're able to get a bigger product, but they're paying, this much of our rent. And then this much of our rent is being paid by all these people who are using, I think there's
That's
like
cool.
4 people. Do you know, like someone just came in, they're doing granola, tea, baking goods. There's someone who does like freeze dried stuff.
Oh, so you guys are all just using the same kitchen?
We're all using the same kitchen, but when I'm there, it's just me and one other guy making stuff for us.
Okay.
There's like only like
So you guys walk like a full
That's
2 to
cool.
3 blocks
we
with
walk
the food.
a lot. My hip right here is so in so much pain.
I'm
dude.
going.
Dude,
I walk.
constantly
You are
I walk
walking
up and down that hill
all the time.
probably 20 times in one day, up and down.
Well, you're-
probably 10
I see you
times,
guys
10 trips.
constantly walking.
Well, you're completely exposed. I'm gonna mug you guys.
You could.
I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna jump out from like a door of like Pizza Transit, and be like and just
Oh, my
grab the,
goodness.
whatever tray you're carrying and run
Dude,
away.
catch me on a bad day with a handful of cinnamon rolls. I will punch you in the mouth. I will
Okay.
fight for my life for
Okay.
the cinnamon rolls.
I love Second and Main. I want
that's
them to be
funny.
open forever. Their cinnamon
But free
rolls.
cinnamon rolls.
Their cinnamon rolls are not that good.
Oh man,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but we're working on it. Yeah,
Okay.
We also had some
Work in
from
progress.
different people and stuff like that too.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, they've
In my-
changed several times.
In my opinion,
Several times.
okay, last time I had one was probably a month ago.
Okay.
Don't know where they're at in the process. In my opinion, they need to be denser, but moister.
Yeah.
Last time I had it, it was like dry
Yeah.
and like too light.
Yeah.
I want it to be heavy.
Yeah,
You know?
I want that to be hefty. I want to
The
eat
donuts.
it and instantly
I
want to
see
go
what you're
poop.
saying.
The donuts they have are good. I
Oh,
had
really?
I had one when it was
That's
hot.
like that is literally the opposite of what most people say because
Yeah.
we're actually about to stop doing donuts.
So
Fun
I had
fact for you.
I had one of them on one of the first days you had them, and they were hot, and it was good hot. It was like it's like a whole wheat thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's not-
it's like traditionally, donuts are like yeast donuts.
yeah.
But we don't use any yeast in our donuts.
Okay,
Like
so-
we don't fry our donuts; they're in the oven,
Gotcha.
like in donut like pie pans almost.
Hot, it
Oh,
was good. I had another one, and it wasn't hot, and it was not nearly as good.
Yeah,
So, I get that.
The pastry game is. I've never done. This is the only time I've ever worked with a pastry chef. And it's like a totally different world because like I do cooking and I make like steaks. I remember at Evil Check, I would have a grill full of like 4 different fried eggs, one in a medium, like, you know what I'm cooking 4 different eggs on 4 different temps, 3 steaks all at once and 6 burgers. I'm also
Dang.
like toasting all the buns at the same time.
Bro.
And it's just me and one other person. And we did so good. And like we got that system and we knew what things looked like and what things felt like. But then like bakery is like you take such a longer time making one thing and it's a science. If you miss like 1 or 2 steps, you toss it all out and you gotta start all the way over. Like if you miss like if you need 2 things of yeast and you do 1.8,
it just
you gotta
throws
test
everything away.
you gotta test that whole thing out. And that makes me want like freak out.
Well, if
'Cause
you
it's
got to
like-
throw away a bunch of stuff and you feel bad, let me know. I'll swing
will.
by, pick it
There
up,
you go.
and I'll take
There
off.
you go.
I'll take some unperfect muffins any
Yeah.
day of the week.
He's closer though. He's right at the street. He stalks
true,
us and
dude.
takes pictures
He
of
does.
us.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
I
Do you
had a
even
question
work?
about that.
I was like, how have you taken 4 or 5 pictures of us?
When I videoed him, he was looking out like he.
Was that
you
what
were
you were
already
doing?
looking out the
Could
Could
window.
you see me, or were you? Was that just your camera that couldn't see through the window? Or
It was
could
just
you-
my camera who couldn't see you. I also
so
had
you
a hard
could see
time
me?
seeing. I could see glimpses of you, and then I saw your phone up too. I'm like, okay, that's definitely Jared.
Yeah.
I had a separate
I
video
was, like,
where I was
trying
like,
to-
he's up there, you can't see him, and I'm saying it, but it. Yeah, I didn't send that one for some reason.
You look
It's
real
so
cute
funny.
though. I am in the photo of it.
I looked so
your
stupid.
phone.
I was actually insecure like the rest of the afternoon because I'm like,
Wait, in your
I looked
photo?
so dumb in those sweatpants. It was like this exact same outfit almost,
Yeah,
and I was just like,
I
I
think
look
it was
so
that
dumb.
yeah,
That's
hilarious.
It was so.
I haven't
was
been up to
laughing.
those office spaces. I want to.
What else is new with you, Jared? Anything at all?
Oh, my sister had a baby.
Oh,
So that's
which
pretty
sister?
fun.
What
Sophie.
sister?
Sophie just had her baby.
I was gonna say, I'm like Hannah. I
Hannah?
played
No.
airsoft with her like a month ago. She wasn't pregnant.
She was definitely
She
not.
does
Wait,
not
how many
show at
sisters do you
all.
have? 3?
No, do you?
Oh, oh, that's it. Oh,
Yeah, that's it. So Sophie,
Sophie and Hannah.
which you probably remember. I don't know.
Of
yeah.
course I know
Yeah.
Sophie.
Yeah. So this is Evelyn, pretty cute
Aw.
baby.
When was
man.
she? When? How old is she?
Dude, it was actually Halloween. Born on Halloween.
Halloween
Ooh.
day.
Yeah, dude. Halloween night.
Spooky baby.
Dude, look. It's a great picture.
Maybe, dude, maybe it's the white balance of the photo,
No, it
or
probably
maybe
is.
you have something
It's
like
cute. Look, she's really
she
cute.
is
She is
cute.
cute.
Her face is a little orange. She kind of looks
She's
like a
so
pumpkin
small.
face.
No, that's
a little
fair.
bit.
It's fair.
It's the Halloween vibes.
Dang, bro.
She's super cute. Anyway.
Nice.
He
Well
just
done.
called, he just
I
called
was gonna
Sophie.
say well done, but you
well
did it.
done.
Well done.
Hey, bro. Good
I
job.
mean, I held her once, so
Well done. You didn't drop her.
yeah, that's right. I was a little scared, dude. Little babies like that size, like
It's scary.
they're scary.
I
man.
don't want to. I
All
don't
of
like
my
holding
other-
babies. It gives me anxiety.
Yeah, all of my other nieces and nephews, like I would wait like a couple weeks or like a month before I would like actually even like get near him. I'm like, I don't want to hurt him.
There's a few people at work that have like really young. There's 1, 2, 3, like 3 people that have less than a year-old babies, or less than a year and a half. And every time they come and they want me to hold them, or like less than a year, I get so nervous to hold them, bro. If I had so much pressure, dude. I could not do that.
Support the head. Support the head.
I know.
What if I don't support the head? Then what happens?
You're holding him wrong.
Does it fall off?
It could. That's what it feels like, at least when you're holding it. They feel like little bobbleheads.
It is crazy.
Dude.
They know nothing. They feel nothing. Complete bliss.
Their entire life is in my hands for that
Literally
10 minute of time.
You're right.
Yep.
I could change the course of their entire. You know what I mean? One bad drop.
It's true.
One bad drop and they curve to the left for the rest of their life. Like, you know what I mean? That would be so awful. Yeah. Oh, that's my bad.
Bro, why are you so crazy? Well, when I was a baby, this weird guy with tattoos, I guess he dropped
Stitches
me.
on his hands.
His insurance salesman.
Yeah, dude. Ex-insurance salesman.
Okay, let's jump in here.
Wait, I had a question for you though.
Oh, you have a question for
Okay,
me?
so
Question
it's
for you.
Halloween. I was thinking now you're in the suburbs.
Oh,
did you
bro.
do
Ooh,
you
did you
have
hand out
Halloween
candy?
experiences
Okay,
with kids coming to your house?
Okay, so there was no experiences, quote unquote. So okay, when I lived with my parents, so long story short,
Yep.
we didn't hand out candy, and it was a little bit more of a big deal than I thought it was going to be.
Oh.
So it was just like when I grew up in my parents' house, we lived in a corner in a not very suburban neighborhood.
Right.
So it was like we ended up getting like, I think one year we had like 5 trick-or-treaters, and that was like the most we'd ever get.
Yeah.
And also my parents were also always on the fence about, are we going to hand out candy? Do we celebrate Halloween? They were those Christian parents.
Yeah.
And I've been in apartments for the last like 4 years.
Right.
And nobody trick-or-treats at apartments.
So this has been your
'Cause that's
first like
weird.
real experience.
Yep. And I knew that there were going to be more, but I didn't know how many. And I'm sitting here, the window's open. This is right out to the front, like front street.
Yeah.
And I'm working. I'm on the clock, and it's like 3:30, and there's cars like parking up on the sidewalks.
Already?
The people next to us apparently throw like a Halloween party every year.
Oh,
They're
wow.
super into it. And so I'm sitting here, and I like just pull the shades because I'm like, I have to work for like another hour and a half.
Did you have Halloween decoration or anything?
Nope, nothing. And I had the door closed. I had the blinds closed, and there were still like 2 people who knocked on the door, and I didn't do anything.
2's not bad though. That's decent.
It wasn't, but I'm just like, I still felt bad.
I'm glad it wasn't like 20 of
So
them.
did you answer? You answered the door. Or you just like left
No,
it?
I didn't have candy. What
No,
was I
it's
gonna
like,
do?
what are you gonna do?
How do you answer the door?
I had 2 things.
No. Close the door.
I had 2 things. I had melatonin gummies, which are delicious, and
That would
every
be
time I have
hilarious.
one, which is 5 milligrams, I'm like, I want more, but I'm not going to do more.
Yeah, don't do that.
Just because they taste good. So option 1 was I
Eats a
hand out
whole bag.
handfuls of those gummies, and then there's just a bunch of zombie kids walking around.
Dude, they like
I gave out nicotine gum at my house this Halloween. Yeah, I did.
No way.
No, I'm just kidding.
Option 2, I did have raw chicken breasts in the fridge.
Oh, dude.
So I just imagine like reaching it, no words, just dropping a slimy
Raw
chicken breast
chicken.
into this kid's,
So
and
gross.
it just like slips through their hands.
Oh, I was thinking like in a
Ew.
Ziploc, but you're just going straight.
Just raw right in the bucket, covers all of their candy. That would be awesome.
Soul of Manila.
That would be like a core memory for them until they were like 40
really
years
would.
old.
It'd be
Remember that one guy? We don't knock on his house no more. He put salmonella on all my Twix. That's hilarious.
So
Like
So good. At least there's only 2 that you had
Yeah.
to
Right.
not
Yeah, I'm
answer the
happy
door
for
to.
you.
if we're here next year, I'll probably actually be prepared.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
some
This year I
candy or
was
something.
not.
You should dress up as something really scary and answer the door.
Oh yeah, dude, we should do a podcast that night,
Oh my god.
and then
that
whenever
would be
they
fun.
knock, we just
We should
like,
do a contest. How many kids you can make cry, and we can all like dress up separately. I'll hang out on like I'll dress up like as a scarecrow and stay super still. I don't know. You can
I'm
be
here
something.
for it.
See, but
Here-
there-
that's what we do. We do a podcast. It's us and Sam, and then he's outside the window, but you have him in shot.
Oh,
so he's
yeah.
just
And the mic's
staying
running
still.
out to him though still too,
Yeah,
so he can still talk to
so
us.
he can talk
Yeah.
to us, but he's just
I'm
standing
gonna get him.
still.
I'm gonna
till
get
he's-
him.
till he's scared.
That's good. Someone has to be on the roof of the paintball gun
Yeah.
with like low FPS. So like
Did you guys watch Malcolm in the
a
Middle?
little bit.
No.
It's a show about like these 3 brothers, and they
Yeah.
do crazy stuff. It's a great show. But there's an episode, and they build a catapult or a slingshot on top of their roof.
Yeah.
And the episode is them launching like big like chocolate milk water balloons at their neighbors and stuff. And I had
chocolate milk water balloons.
it was grosser than that, but like. But I was like, you know what? We live in a neighborhood because we watched that episode when we lived at the apartment. I'm like, we could never do that. And now I'm like, we could do that.
Have you guys?
Yeah. Do you have feuds with your neighbors or anything?
Not yet.
Any beef?
He said not yet. I'm planning on it.
The guy next door, I think, wants us to take better care of our lawn.
How do you know that? What makes you think that?
Okay, well
not to get into.
No, it's fine.
I hope he doesn't watch this.
I highly
if he
doubt
watches this, I got your back. Don't
okay.
worry.
He seems like a perfectly nice guy. It was within the first month of us moving in, I think. I'd noticed the backyard. So there's a sprinkler system here. Mm-hmm. But I've noticed that even with the sprinklers running, the backyard's still getting brown. And I'm like, well, I guess the sprinklers don't hit all the backyard. So I went to Home Depot, got a really cheap sprinkler and a cheap hose.
Yeah.
And I go out the one morning. It's like first thing I do in the morning. So I'm wearing, it might have been these sweatpants and then no shirt. So I'm shirtless.
Yeah.
And,
in your backyard? Or
well, inside. And I'm like, I got to hook up the sprinkler now before I clock in. Otherwise, I'm just not going to do it. I slide open the back door and I start to step out and I realize I'm not wearing a shirt. And also the neighbors next door sometimes sit on their patio first thing in the morning.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, but I'm moving at this point. My momentum is carrying me. And I'm like, and I turn and look, and sure enough, he's just sitting there looking straight into our backyard. And I'm like, well, I'm moving forward. I got to own it. So I just like kept going shirtless in the backyard.
Good job.
I start hooking up the sprinkler, and his like patio is on the far side of his backyard. But I have my back turned for like a couple of minutes, and then I just hear, why don't you just use the sprinkler system? And I turn around, and he's walked across his backyard, standing next to his fence, just
he's right there,
very neighbor-like, just standing there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm very conscious at this point that I'm not wearing a shirt, but I'm like,
okay,
well, screw it. I just have to own it. So I like walked up to him and I was just like, well, I think blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't think they're hitting him. And he just made a couple more suggestions. And he's like, if you ever want me to like show you how the sprinkler system works, because it's like all runs on a control panel. He's like, just let me know. I'm like, okay, thanks. I'll keep an eye on it and I'll let you know.
Sounds like you were watering your backyard with your shirt off and your neighbor hit on you. Let me know if you need me to come over. I'll show you how to use that.
He's an older guy.
I know. I saw him.
And he's married.
I saw him while I was parking. He seems cool.
No. It seems like he's just trying to help.
But to thicken the plot, the people who used to live here work with Steven.
Oh.
And also, the guy next door, his wife also works with Steven.
Oh, okay.
So Steven was at work one day, and it was a girl and her husband who lived here before. Mm-hmm. The girl was telling Steven that our current next door neighbor, who talked to me shirtless, asked her what we should be doing so that the backyard doesn't get all brown. So he's definitely more concerned, but also since those interactions, he hasn't said anything. So
goodness gracious, nothing worse than a nosy neighbor.
They're not wearing a shirt in the morning.
That is a whole new aspect to living in a house in a neighborhood that I wasn't aware of.
Apartments are very different with that. Like you just like nobody
talks.
talks.
To each other. Yeah,
because like that's weird then. Because
luckily my neighbors are pretty decent.
That's
on
cool.
both sides. That's great. I'm happy. I was really scared I was going to move into a neighborhood where they were real buttheads. Everyone seems pretty chill.
Okay, let's jump in.
Yeah.
Boom.
I don't have a whole lot.
Oh, we haven't even jumped in yet.
Here.
What we drinking? Come on.
We're drinking Summit, which is the Aldi brand of root beer. And
mine is all gone.
I am consistently impressed by the drinks across the board at Aldi.
This is good.
Their beer is good. From what I've had, their wine is good. Their root beer is good.
I like their root beer. Their hard root beer they have. Agreed.
Yeah, their not your dad's root beer or whatever.
Yeah.
That's good too.
That's really good.
Nice.
Okay, I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to ask you about. So you whipped out your film camera just now.
Yes.
At the beginning and took a picture.
You have 3 undeveloped rolls of film there.
I do.
Just
an
FYI. Continue.
I just don't have.
That's like $40 worth of.
Yeah, I don't have $40. Those are like 2 or 3 months old now.
Those are gonna be cool. You have no idea. That's like 100 photos right there.
I hope so.
I feel like it's like opening a Christmas gift.
One of them though. So I got this Canon AE1 at a estate sale over the summer, and that one of those rolls was like the first one I shot in here. So I'm actually not sure if they're gonna turn out. Also, it turns out I think this one there's something wrong with the battery thing because I got a new battery and then it was dead really fast. So there's something broken about
it.
This.
It sounds a little ricey. Shake it.
Well, that's
sounds.
that's these things.
I was
That's
about to say, it sounds like something's rolling around in there.
I'll probably take it to Jeans and have him look at it. But
That's where I go
cool.
to. You told me.
but what's your thing with film? You've shot on film for a long time. I don't know if Jared. I don't know if you've ever dabbled with film.
I actually took a film class in college. That was very fun. Yeah, spent a lot of time
in a
dark room.
yourself?
Yeah, we had the dark room.
You got to
and we did all
develop?
yeah, it was super fun.
That's
so.
really cool. I have enough space in my house. I want to do like Rosen wants to have an office room, and I want to turn it into my art room / developing room / music room too.
Yeah,
nice.
But
that'd be sick.
It's just there's also like 8 other things we have to do before we start messing with the cool stuff of owning a new house.
Why do you shoot on film though? Because you've done it for a long time.
Well, when I go to concerts and stuff like that. Well, okay, that was the origin of it. I wanted to learn I wanted to take photos, and I had the eye. I feel like I was confident with like my eye. Like I know what looks good and stuff like that, but I didn't know how to use a camera, and I had nobody around me. I had people around me like Sam and stuff like that maybe at the time who knew how to use cameras.
Right.
But like it's like learning a different language to me. Like what's an ISO? Like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't know what any of this stuff is.
Well, even people who know how to use cameras, like learning film cameras is a whole nother animal.
It really is.
Yeah. So I don't know. I heard of the thing. I heard a point and shoot.
Yep.
So I got this. I did a lot of research. I was like, I want a film camera that has like 2 buttons to it. And it turned into like the best thing to take to like concerts because I go to concerts all the time. But I don't want to take a digital camera that cost me $450. I want to take something I can put in my pocket and hide because everyone's jumping around and like I don't want to drop something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so that became the easiest thing to like take photos of there. And I bought a couple other film photo cameras. I have a digital camera now. I have a Sony. But like I feel like that was just how I learned to use my artistic eye. It was the easiest way for me to like figure out how to like look at something and was like, that's gonna look cool on a photo. And it's like easy, like even
That's
like
cool.
you don't even have to edit that because people were like, it looks like the film look was cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't feel like I had like, and that's all. I don't have to edit it.
It's just always black and white. You always shoot in black and white. Or you have
a
color.
lot of my Instagram is primarily that camera exactly.
Okay.
Even the color ones, and it was super cheap and easy.
So like you didn't edit that
And
one.
stuff like
Was
that.
this on your film camera?
Ooh, yeah, I believe so.
Did you edit it?
I don't ever edit to where it will change the like color. I don't know. That might have been a phone. I have no idea. It's been so long, but
Because I mean, you do get really like cool pictures off of your film camera.
I always edit a little bit, but it's usually just making it lighter or darker or adding a little bit of color. That's all from someone's digital photo.
Yeah, I figured.
But
it
like
wasn't
even
you.
like looking back,
Yeah.
like I wish I hadn't edited those so much because there's a lot of grain on them, a lot of like color. Like you can tell it was like super oversaturated.
Yeah.
My goodness, shouts out to that guy. I forgot about that guy.
Well, you were just learning. I mean, you're learning though. Like that's part of the
That's
whole
just
process.
me playing around. Yeah, that was taken on a camera that has 3 lenses.
Oh yeah, so you got that. So
Those-
it's like that
yeah.
effect. That like,
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I saw that in an ASAP Rocky video. I was like, I want to do that.
See, that's really like
You bought that camera?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
the whole
Yeah.
like the flash photography. I didn't realize it until the other day before I went to my small group's Halloween party, and I brought my digital camera and tried to emulate it. But the flash paparazzi sort of look,
Yeah,
I actually think is really cool.
that's
that's
the
what
first-
you're getting mostly on
Mhm.
film.
And the reason
Yeah.
I take photos like that is because since I was 13, I'm following all these people who like take photos of concerts, like, and they do stuff like that. They had to be super up close because it's like the
Right.
rooms at the concerts, like the metal concerts, are like almost pitch black. So they have to be really, really up close with the brightest like flash that they possibly can have.
Yep.
And instead of buying all these digital photos, they would do the film camera because that would get that like exact look.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like the way that looks, and I figured out what to get. Then I learned from
That's
that
sick.
there.
Jared, what do you
That's
got?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. We have a new president. I
Yeah,
didn't
we
know if
do.
we were going to bring it up.
Okay, pause. I have to go pee.
He said, wait, what?
And we're back. Carter's done peeing.
I'm done peeing.
Did you wash your hands? You didn't, did you?
I
Dude,
did.
that was so much doubt in your
I
eyes.
sure did.
Speaking of doubt, no,
I
I'm just
see the
kidding.
bandage on your hand. Those are filthy hands, dirty hands. I looked at those hands and I thought, wow, those are dirty.
The amount of piss was huge.
Okay.
Yeah, we got
We
a
have
new
a new
president. Yeah. So that happened. I was just
That did
wondering
happen.
what your guys' thoughts were on that. But then specifically, my thought here is there's like these responses that I keep hearing, which is like, oh my gosh, World War III, here it comes. So I was wondering what your emergency plan is for World War III, but like
We can segue.
we can segue into that. But
I'm actually okay. I am surprised.
Okay, you go first.
We don't have to get super political.
Okay,
But
I'm fine either way.
I am very surprised. That was Tuesday. So this is the Saturday after. So it's been Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's been 4 days. And nothing
Monkeys are
dramatic
loose.
has happened.
The monkeys are loose.
There's no riots.
Monkeys?
Hold on. Pause.
Okay,
Hold.
okay, y'all.
We're gonna come back.
Okay,
to that.
okay. I'll get my research done. Y'all go.
okay.
There has been no riots. There's been like
Yeah.
it's been generally peaceful so far, which everybody leading into it were like, whoever wins, it's gonna be crazy afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
It has not been crazy at all.
Been pretty chill. Other than the 43 monkeys who have escaped from the South Carolina research facility. They're
You spent 5 seconds researching that.
Listen. I just wanted to get the count. What we know after 43 monkeys escaped a South Carolina research facility. That's the crazy thing that's happened since. They have all kinds of diseases. Have you guys seen 13 monkeys?
You know what that sound? No.
It sounds like 28 days later.
No, it sounds like Planet of the Apes.
It sounds
the
like Planet
first
of the
one.
Apes.
They all bust out.
That's literally what it is.
28 days later or Planet of the Apes. Either way, I'm putting some barricades up. That's
Okay, there's apes running. Okay.
Yes, 43 of them to be
Dang,
exact. Isn't that crazy?
That is
All of a
crazy.
sudden they just lose. Who knows?
Speaking of
Somebody let
monkeys,
him out.
there's a new one in the White House. I'm
Oh,
just trying to
got him.
No, I'm just trying to segue back in.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I like the monkey thought too. Like, okay. That's crazy, man. No, but you're right. Like, there's nothing crazy that has been other than monkeys.
Yeah.
that has been happening. And I was really like surprised by that. I was like, what? Oh, it's very chill. Now, I don't know, when he actually when they actually launched into that, because we're still in the waiting period, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think something.
Here we go.
I think there's a
Something's gonna
decent chance that something is going to happen between now and January. I don't know what. It would not surprise me if if somebody actually assassinates him. Like
Wouldn't that
it would be
been
crazy.
a couple attempts already.
I know.
It's crazy, dude.
And he
Okay,
has
has there been a
more
couple?
security now.
yeah, there's been multiple.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he got
There
shot.
was-
In
there
the,
was-
he got shot in the ear.
I knew that one.
That one, and then there's another one that people keep talking about. I don't remember
Really?
the details of it,
It
but
was
believe it,
like
though.
I thought there was.
he was golfing
Maybe
or
I'm wrong.
something, and then there were gunshots on the golf course. I don't think the guy actually shot
that's
at
fair.
him.
Okay.
Oh, okay, okay.
Secret Service
It was
found
like
him first.
it was an assassination scare or something.
Yeah, they're calling it an attempt. But
That's
Sure.
insane.
Okay. I didn't know that. Yeah. That's good.
it would not surprise me if somebody legit actually.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Wouldn't that be crazy if we were alive at the time of a presidential assassination? Wait,
So here's
yeah.
Here-
When was JFK assassinated?
no, we were not alive.
Okay,
Yeah.
Going out on a limb.
Just double check.
Pretty sure.
Pretty confident.
I talked to Steven about this. This was the day of the election.
Uh-huh.
And we're just rolling around ideas. And I'm like, if he gets elected, what would happen if he gets assassinated before January?
Oh.
And then, completely hypothetical, this most likely wouldn't happen. Because the Democrats are already in office, Trump, the president-elect, is assassinated. They step in and they're like, hey, he was assassinated. This is an emergency. We're seizing control. And they just fill the office again.
Dang.
That
Which
would be crazy.
Seems like unconstitutional, and I don't think it would happen. It seems
could, though.
way
Yeah,
too dramatic.
yeah.
But if it happened, guaranteed, people we know would literally take up arms and march on Washington because they're like, that's it.
I'd do it just for fun. Let's go.
Well, that was my question.
He'd bring his
Would you
film
join?
camera.
That was my question.
I
Is
don't know.
would you?
Yeah,
if
bring
that
your
happened,
camera, bro. Get
if
some
that
cool
happened,
shots.
and there was a clear
Oh, yeah. I see what you're
show
saying.
of
Like, we ain't leaving.
tyrants in Washington.
Okay.
And there's force and people marching on the White House. Would you join?
I feel like regardless of the president, I would support it. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with Trump, or even if Kamala was the one who had gotten the presidency. If that had happened and clearly somebody was pushing somebody out and taking control and not letting the people be the voice, then yeah, I feel like it would be valid. I don't know if I would go. That sounds like a lot of work.
You're saying it's valid that people would be marching. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if
Yeah, I
I
don't know
would
if I'd
join.
go.
Sounds like a lot of work.
I wouldn't be opposed to it, I guess,
We
if
are-
it was like, hey, this is what we got to do. But I don't know. I don't.
Do
Would
you
you-
guys remember?
would you-
We've already stormed the
crazy,
White
dude.
House. We've already done this, and it was a
Would
joke.
you were there?
No, I just mean we.
No, yeah.
That it is
I wish I was.
surprising
That'd be
how
cool.
easy that
That was
Right.
That was a Capitol building.
It's surprising,
wasn't it?
and I'm not saying they should have shot a bunch
You're
of
right.
people.
You're right. It was not the White House.
to be fair.
But a dude-
Wait,
it
where
was a
was it?
Capitol building or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. It was one of the
Oh.
other big.
It was Capitol
buildings.
Hill. But
Oh,
a
was
dude
it really?
did. This was
Yeah.
not in January. This was earlier. But a
Oh.
dude did run into the White House with like a pocket knife, and he like was
Oh
running
my
around the hall.
goodness.
He got all the way in, ran around the halls before he got taken
Legend.
down. So
I mean,
Why was I thinking it was the
that's
White
crazy.
House this whole time?
I don't know. So like, well, you've already gotten into the World War III topic.
sort of a little bit.
No, but like people are kind
Oh.
of saying that's what's crazy is like the reaction. I mean, like if Trump becomes president, it's probably just gonna be another 4 years of him being president. I don't think anything crazy is gonna happen.
I can see him getting.
I mean, there could be that. There could be like an assassination or something like that. That'd be nuts. But if it just goes through the thing, like I don't think there's super potential for like World War III. But some people were like, "This is crazy. Like he's gonna cause all this trouble with people." And I was like, "Okay, well, I don't know."
I feel like I don't follow closely enough to anything with, like it's not even like I feel like some people brag like, oh I don't know anything about that stuff, like I don't pay any attention. But like me is like it's like an embarrassing thing. Like I wish I knew more about it and paid more attention. But I just feel like I do not.
The only reason I voted, I'm not going to say who I voted for, but the only reason I voted
We know.
was because I want things to be cheaper because I'm hurting financially.
So we.
That's
know.
literally like the only reason.
Fair.
And there's bigger reasons to vote. I acknowledge that. And
Right.
I acknowledge that mine was not the best, maybe not even a good reason to vote, but it's where I'm at right now.
I think it is a good reason. To be fair, like
It
it's
is what
kind of
happened.
just that's what affects most people's lives is like your day to day. So like having that makes sense as far as motivation. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, would you go to like the storming of the Capitol?
Okay,
Like
well,
the re-
okay, well here's
yeah the
The
second one?
if there was another one. Like
I guess
your
I'd have to
question.
know the details. Like what are we doing here?
Do I get a
okay.
gun?
So let's reframe it.
Yeah, reframe it for me, please.
Okay, so let's say this is what happens. The whole tyrant thing happens. Democrats fill the White House.
Yeah.
They don't let the people have a say.
Yeah.
And then local like militias start grouping up and like, hey, we're going to get in vans and drive out there sort of thing. But like all over the country.
Yeah.
So there's like a South Bend militia. There's like a Grand Rapids militia.
Dude, who's
In-
organizing that stuff?
I don't
That's
know.
what's
Yeah.
Crazy.
There's like a big
It's
Facebook
that-
page.
it's
Vance
the
is probably-
who's that
Wait,
one guy?
isn't Vance the vice president?
Yes.
Yeah.
Vance might.
Yeah, Trump.
Maybe
and
he'd be
Vance.
like, "Hey, guys, come
it's
on."
Vance.
Yeah.
Vance
Also,
refrigeration.
if Trump died, doesn't Vance just go into the presidency?
Yeah, that's what I think is supposed to
normally,
happen.
But you're
Right.
saying if it was crazy.
Yeah, if it was
okay.
crazy. So if that happens,
Yeah,
these militias start joining up.
I see.
It's like this is organized. This is a decent threat. There's going to be violence. It depends. So like the movie Civil War that just
Yeah.
came out,
I haven't seen
Didn't
it
watch
yet.
it.
pretty
Really-
good.
Really
As a
want to.
photographer,
Really want to.
as a photographer, you'd freaking love it.
I want to.
Okay.
If the military splits, then it's going to be more of a fair fight. But if it's just a bunch of local militia versus the United States government and military, they got bunker buster missiles that'll like blow up
Yeah,
a
I'm
bunker
done.
within a bunker within a bunker. Like you can't hide.
Militia?
Who would lead the militia?
Who is leading the militia and would inspire courage into you?
Mel Gibson.
could it be?
Ooh,
Cal-
Mel
Ca-
Gibson.
Bro, come on.
What's that? What's Buddy's name?
Mel Gibson would do
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, I feel like that's it. He's all.
Wait, what did he do again?
Oh, bro, block it out. I'm not gonna talk. We're gonna get canceled.
Name is familiar. Oh, it was a
Kyle
school.
Rittenhouse.
School
Yeah,
shooting,
shot
yeah.
shot a bunch of people in a riot or something like that.
Oof.
That's a
no, he was
whole-
the AR guy during
He had
the
an AR.
Floyd.
Yeah,
Floyd-
during the riots, and he was defending some buildings and shot a bunch of people. It was
Yeah.
a whole thing.
No. Yeah.
Block that out. They're gonna come for us.
I don't know who would have to lead that.
Dwayne
But
The
my
Rock
point,
Johnson.
He came to mind.
I'd be
Okay.
I'd be behind that guy.
But my point is,
Sounded weird.
if we were going up against the government with the military, it is almost certain death.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, we
So
don't.
then it boils down to,
Are we dying?
am I willing to risk my life for the United States? Oh yeah. And I think that's a question most people actually don't think about. Because we've never, like, most people are not in a
That's a good point.
situation of, like, I'm going to lay down my life because I believe deep down that the United States of America and what we stand for is worth dying for.
Yeah.
I don't
right.
know if I'm there. Honestly, if this happened, I would have a conflict
I'd
of
probably
interest
just-
inside. And I'm like, I don't know if I really believe that.
That's a good question. Right? Like,
It would give me something to do.
At first, you're like, it would be too much work, and now you're like, you know what? It'd give me something
that
to
little
do.
speech you just gave, I'm
that
down.
inspired
I'm all
you,
in.
man.
If
Carter
you were
Warren
leading,
is
bro,
the
I'd
leader
fall
of the
behind you.
militia. I don't know, man.
Yeah, my inspiring speech is, do you believe this? I don't know that I do.
I may not. I don't know.
But everyone else is marching, and I want a gun. Let's go.
I want a gun. Pew, pew. Where the gun's at?
Yeah, no, that's interesting. It'd have to be a lot of motivation for me to be able to actually hit that. Yeah, as far as, well, one, I think it would feel like we couldn't actually achieve that, like what you're saying, right? Like, it's like, okay, this is for freedom for America, but it's like, are we actually going to be able to fight and win anything if we were to do that?
Or is it all to no avail? Yeah.
I mean, do you draw the line there? Like, is
Is
the point dying for it? Is the point trying? Or because it's like a lost cause, do we not even try?
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Ooh, that's actually a really deep question.
I'd probably just move in the woods and like
That's what I was gonna say.
become a hermit, man. Because like
Oh,
just like a
dude.
monk up in the mountains somewhere.
Oh my goodness,
You
that'd
know?
be so nice, dude. You didn't have to talk to a single person. You're just up all by yourself in seclusion.
That's what I'm saying.
That's nice.
He's coming with
I think
me.
I do that.
He's coming with you now.
I think I'd bunker down, just me and Rosa all by ourselves, and my dog, maybe, unless we have to eat her or something. I couldn't eat my dog.
That would be a bummer.
That'd be a little bit of a buzzkill. A little bit.
Hey, babe, we're up here in the mountains. It's real nice, but we are low on food. And what's your dog's name?
Nala.
And Nala is looking pretty plump.
Pretty plump.
Pretty plump. And you know I make a mean steak.
That's true.
I've never
There in the
eaten dog.
mountains.
What was your thought as far as like, well,
So, okay.
World War III
World War
was,
III breaks out. Let's say this militia thing happens.
Okay.
Well, maybe
That's-
not.
that's
maybe
a
not
Civil
that.
War
Yeah, that's
situation.
Civil War. You're right.
Civil War
So let's say
situation.
we get in a war with like China or something,
China.
and then everybody gets involved. World War III's in the house,
Yeah.
Sure.
and we're like, okay,
I-
what's your plan?
I would form the Wolverines like Red Dawn.
Okay, well that's
Okay.
that's the question.
Well, that's-
Is China
okay, here-
invading
But
the United
I'll
States?
give more context. Here
Or
you
are
go.
we invading
Okay.
them?
China's invading.
Okay.
Okay. Russia's invading from one side. China's invading the
This
other
is Red
side.
Dawn. Yep, Red Dawn.
Oh, is that Red Dawn?
Yep.
Yeah,
Basically.
You're right. I forgot. Oh, yeah.
No, it's okay.
that's-
I love
It's
Red Dawn.
valid.
It's a great
It's
movie.
valid.
Okay.
Continue.
Red Dawn's happening.
I think about this often.
Well, good. So yeah, China, Russia,
I'd be the Daryl Dixon of Red Dawn. I'd have a crossbow.
crossbow.
Okay, continue.
Is this the original Red Dawn?
But what's
you're
like
talking
your,
The
about?
what's your
OG Red
survival
Dawn's
plan?
crazy.
I haven't seen the
Say
OG.
it starts tonight, right?
Okay.
So you don't have much prep.
Yep.
Like, what are your first reactions? Like, what are you doing tomorrow morning?
Or
tonight.
Tonight, I would probably
If
go
it happens
stock up on
tonight,
food.
I'm gonna sleep in, and I'm thinking this sounds
Yeah.
like tomorrow's
I'm gonna enjoy
problem.
it.
I'm gonna worry about this later.
Okay.
I would stock up. I'd go buy a bunch of canned stuff.
Okay.
I don't know.
Would you buy it or would you just loot it? Because let's be honest,
at this
it's
point,
gonna be
we're
like
looting.
World War Z
You're right.
situation.
You're right.
Yeah, people
Loot.
be going crazy.
Yeah.
Loot. Give myself a little baklava, a little ski mask. I go to some looting.
Baklava. Isn't
that's
that
what's
a
called?
dessert?
No. Oh yes, it actually is. Good job. It's both. I think.
Okay.
It's just
You might be right.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's on.
Anyway, go crazy, go looting.
Okay.
I wouldn't steal
loot it
no
up.
toilet paper. We did that last time with whatever the heck. what were we all buying toilet paper for?
That was
COVID.
COVID, yeah.
How am I gonna wipe our butts? I like how that was our main concern.
Yeah.
if you take away that,
The shower. If
Society
if
falls
worse
into
comes to worse
chaos.
and you have no toilet paper, the shower, right?
I guess
No?
so.
Am I the only one?
I
It's a
think
little-
It's fair.
Yeah.
Like in an emergency situation,
Yeah.
I can live without toilet
You have a
paper.
I'll bet you
bidet,
after if
so
that
you're
had
fine.
happened, bidets would have skyrocketed in sales after everything resettled because everybody would have realized washing your butt with water is the superior way.
Yeah.
I know you got a bidet.
So
I do.
you
I haven't hooked it up though since I moved in.
Aw.
I just I have some I
man.
have some dude wipes holding down the fort right now.
I saw he got about 5 packs in there. My boy wipes. My boy be wiping.
I use 2 at the end just to clean up, and
Yeah.
we're good. So it's mostly
do
toilet paper.
you wipe your
and then-
butt with the wipes and then you end with the toilet paper so you're not walking around with like wet butt cheeks?
No, I do it the opposite. I do toilet paper to get most of the stuff, and then I just clean up with like one
okay.
Okay.
one dude wipe, and
Valid.
they're not that wet, so it doesn't. Leave
Okay.
you-
Oh, like
doesn't
on
leave
a
you
scale of
drippy.
1 to 10, what kind of wetness are we talking
Like
about
a
for these
2.
wipes? Oh, really? That sounds
mean-
really pleasant. I might take a poop before I leave.
Perhaps TMI, but I got a fuzzy butt too, so
You
it
got a
probably just
fuzzy
a lot of
butt.
it just gets like absorbed into the hair, probably.
Man,
I wish I hadn't said that, but
good
not that
lord,
you
dude!
also
I'm gonna
editing
watch
powers,
this
so
entire
you-
pot. If you cut that
my
out,
butt is not great looking.
If you-
It is white, it is pasty, there is cellulite, and there is hair.
yeah.
Pretty sure there's, like,
my wife
pimples
says
on
my butt. My wife says my butt looks like a SpongeBob butt. You know the episode of SpongeBob where the back of SpongeBob, his butt is like it's just a line and it's just completely square. She said that to me one time and I was like, I don't even know why I live. I was like, I have a SpongeBob butt, bro. That's so embarrassing. I gotta walk around with this.
I've never thought that in my life.
I was like, I want to start doing squats now. Thanks a lot. Good lord.
Dude.
Yeah.
Are
Depression.
you taking your dude wipes? Your dude wipes?
I'm gonna
on?
do.
Are you grabbing a
Yeah,
pack?
where did we? I feel like we went off.
No, we were
a little bit.
I don't know
So,
how we got on
I got
that.
distracted by the wipes.
Okay, back.
I wanted to riff.
Going back to World War III.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of prep for. So when the eclipse happened, there's actually some interesting theories about some really significant earthquakes happening and stuff going down. And I listened to that probably more than I should have, but like I went to Rural King, I bought some stuff, and I was like, I had water, I had like a bug out bag.
It's a bug out bag.
It's like a bag full of the stuff that
Just
you use
goodies
the
and
most.
stuff?
So I think I
Okay.
had some canned goods in there and
like
stuff like
survival.
that.
Very nice.
So I was ready to go. My plan was probably to.
For the eclipse?
Okay, so I want to share it because it's interesting. So
Yeah.
about 100 years ago, or maybe it was 200 years ago, there was a similar two eclipses that happened. So we had an eclipse back in 2017 and then one this last year. And they both went from opposite directions, so they made an X over the country. And there was a similar, that's exactly what happened just now, and then that also happened like 200 years ago. And there was also, when the one that happened 200 years ago happened, there was a asteroid or a comet that was able to be seen, which had some kind of, I don't know, significance. There was also a comet that was visible during our eclipse, which is not super common in this respect, and it was called the Devil's Comet. And so there's those similarities.
Dang.
But the eclipses that happened 200 years ago, like I think it was 3 months after they happened, the New Madrid fault line, which is this fault line in New Madrid, Missouri, I think,
Okay.
went off, and it was like insane. Like it opened up, swallowed like towns into it. It was like
200 years ago?
It was like 200
200 years ago, but 3 months after the
3 months after like their last
Eclipse-
eclipse
or-
that
okay.
happened that finished like the X thing.
Earth swallowed.
So we're
Yeah.
the
still
entire
Wait, how long ago was our eclipse?
Ours was
last year.
That was last year or something?
I think so, right?
no, it was this last summer.
Oh, was it really?
So
I think.
we're still are we
Goodness.
still in the earthquake zone?
I don't know.
Okay.
But scientists
Okay.
have been like, the New Madrid fault line is pretty sus and it's kind of primed to go off. And they started saying that kind of after
Dang.
the eclipses happened.
That's
sketch.
so scary.
And somebody has made a map of if the New Madrid fault line goes off and it's as bad as it could be,
Yeah.
it would split the United States in two.
Dude.
And there would be a giant, like great, like Lake Michigan width sized river that would run
goodness.
from Lake Michigan, from the Great Lakes, through exactly where we are right now, all the way to the Gulf of Mexico.
Bro, what?
I don't know how
haven't
founded
heard
that
that.
is.
Oh my God, I
I'm
can't
gonna
wait to
take
go
this as
home.
100% fact.
Yeah.
I'm not questioning it at all. I'm
I
not
can't
gonna
wait
look
to
it
go
up.
home and watch 3 YouTube videos on this.
You should look up the New Madrid earthquakes from like
Dude,
200
that's
years
crazy.
ago,
Can you
they
imagine
were
very
that while
interesting.
China is attacking?
Oh my
like-
goodness.
or after they've invaded, they're like, we've got it,
That's
it's all
pure.
ours, and then they get smacked and like
Wow.
Yellowstone erupts, and it's just
Dude,
like,
that could be it too.
okay. But back to the World War III.
Oh yeah, so you thought all that was happening.
So I was kind of prepped a little bit.
Yeah, so you're prepped.
So to go to the World War III scenario,
Yep.
if I wasn't prepared, which I'm not really right now,
Mm-hmm.
happens tonight.
What would you need to be prepared? Oh, continue your story.
I'd probably buzz by Meyer because it's right here
Okay.
and try to
That'd be a
grab,
bloodbath.
probably, but go
Get
in
there.
grab what I can, mostly water, canned goods,
Yeah.
and then
that's
I would
smart.
bug out, get as far from the city as possible, just to try to get into the country.
Yeah.
And just get my feet under me. From there, probably just figure out a
Where
way
are
to
you? Wait, what
go
direction are
way
you
north. I would probably go west.
I would stay right where I am.
You stay in
South.
Niles?
I
You
would-
think
I-
you could be like,
No, I would go southwest.
bro, this man would be the mob boss of Niles.
I'm
Like,
just
you know how,
saying,
because
like-
it breaks up into all these like
Little
factions.
factions, and he would be like
yeah.
I'd be in the
running out
faction.
of Second and Main or something, or up in my office, I
Ooh,
guess, because you're up on that.
Ooh,
top
either
floor.
or.
That's
Oh yeah,
pretty
you'd
good.
have to be on
You
the
have
top floor.
you have like it's
You
like
gotta be on the top.
It's like Les Mis. You have barricades in all the main streets
Yeah.
in Niles.
Dude, you could totally, yeah.
This guy.
I'll be your general.
All
be
those
my leader.
buildings in Niles, I definitely would take over. That'd be easy too, because a lot of them are old and frail.
Right.
I'd probably take them out pretty easily and create a monopoly on the
What
entire
do you mean
Niles.
take them out? Like,
Yeah, I
they
thought you
would
meant like
collapse it.
occupy them, but you're like I'm just
Well,
gonna.
I mean, if they would like
knock 'em over.
resist,
They're pretty old.
yeah,
I bet I could knock them over.
good. Take them out.
Dude, no, I could see that. You just get a little group of guys or like a people.
It would only take 5. If I got 5 solid dudes with me,
Yeah.
we could
And
control.
you just kind of
downtown.
control that.
You just
I
pulled
think
that
about this
from
a lot.
who's the
Joey Diaz.
Joey the Jew ideas.
All you need is 3.
bad
All you need is 3 guys, and you can take out the entire government.
Dude's crazy.
I love
man.
Joey Diaz.
No, that's
dude.
fair. I think I'd go north. I think I'd do that. Like I'd basically do what you were saying. And I'd
north.
grab some camping gear. I'd do that, and I'd
But why
go
north?
Because I think it's
Canada.
just
North is
easier.
that
Like
way.
like UP, there's a lot of woods.
The
And then
challenge.
you can like break through to Canada if you need to. You know.
the
Very
challenge of going north immediately is that
You think everybody else will?
not necessarily, but it's going to bottleneck if you try
You're
to
right,
get to
there's a
UP.
bottleneck.
There's the
that's a
Mackinac
good point.
Bridge, which is going to be locked down or blown up. Who knows?
That's
So then
fun.
you're going to have to figure out a boat situation to get across, which sounds pretty. This would be a great movie,
No, you're right.
but
Yeah.
Oh, dang, because that's everything's bottleneck there.
so that's why I would go southwest first, kind of split Indy and Chicago,
Sure.
and then try
Yeah,
to
you don't wanna-
maybe shoot all the way down to like Iowa, and then head up through the Dakotas, and then go to Canada
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, that's smart.
Or go to Mexico.
Mexico.
it's Emmy.
That's true.
I feel like I feel like that's such an apocalyptic question. Like that is
yeah.
the apocalypse.
No, that was
If a meteor caused a fault, and what the heck did you say? The and then China
these
made
were
it.
two different scenarios, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
What if both happened? Then I would go north probably because you wouldn't be able to go west. Anyway,
I was gonna. Speaking of spooky situations, let's talk about sleep paralysis.
Oh my gosh!
because
okay.
like 2 nights ago, I haven't been sleeping great
Did you-
lately.
okay, yeah,
But like 2 nights ago, I think I got my first taste. It wasn't legit,
okay.
but I started to understand it a little bit because I woke up. I had like some anxiety about stuff, so I'm not sleeping the best.
Mhm.
It was within the first hour or two of falling asleep, and I kind of woke up, and I knew when it was happening. I'm like, I'm definitely half asleep right now. And you know that feeling of like usually happens when you're sick, if you're like gagging in your sleep and you wake up, or maybe your face is in your pillow
Yeah.
and you can't breathe and you slowly start to panic and all of a sudden like your body like jerks and you're fine. It was like that feeling, but it was my whole like body. Like, so I was on my back,
Dang.
which I normally don't do. And from what I understand,
You sleep on your stomach?
usually side or stomach,
Nice.
Yeah.
but nice.
Yeah.
You sleep on your back? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, sleep paralysis normally happens when you sleep on your back.
Oh.
So it kind of tracks.
Oh.
But so I was on my back, which I have not done in a while. And like my right arm was resting on my chest. I think my left arm was maybe down. And I woke up and I realized like I'm half awake right now. It was that half asleep, half awake thing. But I couldn't move. Like I did not want to move. It felt like it was going to be like a ton of effort just to move at all.
Yeah.
But immediately I'm like, okay, I know that was sleep paralysis. You're supposed to focus on just moving your big toe. And then once you do that, then it'll start working its
Yeah.
way and you'll be able to move everything.
Start
No
small.
way.
So
kinda
I
thing.
immediately tested and like I could move my left foot. And I think it was like my left hip I could kind of move too.
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
But then I like pulled myself out of it. But it was like to roll over was like the same amount of effort if we were to lay on the floor and you were to lay on top of me and I had to like push you off
Yeah.
of me.
Good luck with that one.
And it's just like
Yeah.
it was not full on sleep paralysis. I didn't see or hear anything spooky. I did feel like
But you
maybe
couldn't move your body. You didn't have control. That's
yeah, and
sleep
I
paralysis.
did feel like maybe there was like
a little guy.
like some kind of shadow or entity or something maybe off to my right, but I think I like
It's
closed
real.
my eyes because I'm like, I'm not thinking about this. I'm just trying to move. And the whole thing lasted like maybe 2-3 seconds.
Crazy.
Yeah, dude.
But
That's crazy.
it's
This was in the
Terrifying.
middle of the night, or was it in the morning? Like,
middle of the night.
oh,
Yeah.
Has this happened to you?
I had sleep paralysis a lot when I was young.
Really?
And not like, I'm talking about like, I would be falling asleep or waking up, and I would see what my mom, or what I would tell my mom is like shadow monsters is what I would call them. And so it'd be like when I'm about to fall asleep. So like I'm asleep, my eyes are still open. So like you're not fully asleep, but you're not fully awake. So they're both mixing together.
Yep.
That's how I sum it up. Not like
That's what I felt.
You know what I mean? And it also is like stress and anxiety. That's a huge, because that will keep you awake. So if you're asleep and stress and anxiety is waking you up and you're opening your eyes, you can get like that kind of stuff. So I would just see like people jumping around my room, or like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that when I was really young.
Like just like shadow people jumping around.
Yeah, dude. Like, and there was like different like sizes of people. It used to trip me up. I used to have such a hard time sleeping. But whenever I got like close to like probably like 15 or 16, I was like, it didn't even exist anymore.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
huh. I've not had.
I think it was just something when I was really young.
Yeah.
Something about it.
not had sleep paralysis.
Have you heard these stories though of like people?
Have you heard about the Hat Man?
Dude, no,
Heard
like the
that.
shadow people, nah.
Okay, so
That's
okay,
nuts.
so
have you heard about the Hat Man?
I've heard about
What's
this.
You on
that,
Reddit?
man?
So there's
The Hat Man.
so the whole
dude.
sleep paralysis thing is basically you like exactly like Carter said. You wake
Yeah,
up
Okay.
in the middle of the night and you cannot move your body.
Right. So
You
you're
can
like,
breathe, but you
because
can't
you're not
move.
fully
You're awake, but you're not.
cognitive. Yeah.
Right.
But your eyes are open and you can hear and see.
Yeah.
And people oftentimes will see shadow people, which is just like
Right.
a shadow of a person.
Yeah.
Or like the Hat Man, which is
Yeah.
like isn't that like a Slender Man sort of being, but
So
with a hat?
yeah, basically there's a sub forum or subreddit, whatever you call it, on Reddit, where like a bunch of group of people will be like, I saw a Hat Man while I was in sleep paralysis, and everyone's like, oh my goodness, I saw the same thing. But it makes like, I don't think everyone's experiencing the same entity that jumps in between people's, like, it's just shadows that look tall, and that's kind
bizarre though.
It is
because
bizarre.
There's like 4 or 5 things that everybody consistently sees, like
Yeah.
one of them. It's either just
Right.
normal shadow people. It's the Hat Man. There's like, for some
so
people,
odd.
there's a witch that sits on their chest
Ooh.
and like
Dang.
whispers to them.
Okay.
Sometimes like somebody will feel somebody like slide up next to them and like cuddle with them,
Ooh.
which I think sounds okay.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm a lonely fellow.
Come here, Hat Man.
So Steven
Give me a
told
little
me like
cuddle.
a couple of months ago.
It was Steven.
It happened to him.
Steven cuddled with you. Okay, man.
We've snuggled. I think.
Was he wearing a hat?
If you don't snuggle with the boys,
You gotta snuggle with the boys.
Yeah.
I always kiss my homies goodnight.
good.
Go ahead.
It happened to Steven?
It happened to Steven a
Okay.
couple of months ago. He told me the next day, he's like, yeah, dude, like I woke up, I couldn't move. And I heard somebody just like, I thought they were in the bed next to me and they were just cackling in my ear.
Oh, dude, that's
And it's just
crazy.
that's terrifying.
That was here?
Just your dreams.
No, that was
I was
at
like,
the
did they
apartment.
both happen here? Okay.
Oh yeah, I was about to
that's
say, good
separate.
job. At least it's not this place.
Yeah.
But
Cursed.
that's the weird thing is there's these consistent things that people see, which makes a lot of people think that it is spiritual
Yeah.
because it's a consistent thing.
Interesting.
I don't know if it is.
Well, okay, so here's what it also, are those attached to memories? Like, have they already heard about the thing?
Right.
And then
they're
seeing
fixated
the hat
on it.
guy, you know, because they're like,
They're
"That guy's
fixated
gonna
on
show
it while they're falling asleep
Right.
with tons of stress and anxiety, and therefore it just, yeah, I do. I can see both sides.
I kind of wonder with that. Yeah.
Ca-
That's there's like science, like there's actual professionals who will tell you, like you can watch videos and like docuseries on how that kind of stuff works, and like the way
right.
your mind like addresses the what do you call it, like the transition to being fully awake to fully asleep, and it's somewhere in between. It gets, your brain doesn't know how to do it because you're so stressed or something, and then you're just stuck right in the middle, which is it like scientifically it makes sense to me. I don't know about everybody seeing the same exact thing, but I don't know. That is
Okay, and is this the same thing? Because like I've definitely, as like mostly when I was younger, not as much now. I don't think I've had this in a while, but when I'm like trying to fall asleep, I will. It would basically, I would be half asleep. Like, so it's maybe similar thing, but I didn't feel like I couldn't move. It was just, I would feel like, so I have my eyes closed, but I'd feel like almost like perspective shifts. Like, I feel like I'm like on top of a mountain, and then all of a sudden like shoot down to like a town.
Yeah.
And then I'm like back there. Like, it felt like my, like perspective would
You were
constantly change. I don't know if that's like related. Maybe that's just a weird thing I have. But
you ever seen Insidious?
No.
What's that?
Horror
Sleep
movie.
Yeah. No,
disorder.
Does it have
There's
that
a name
in
for
it?
what you're calling it.
The thing I have? Oh, that's good.
What you're saying. Whenever you're watching yourself from like a different perspective. It still is sleep paralysis, but it's like a different, like disconnected version of it. And Insidious is like about a kid who experiences that. Not to like freak you out, but like he can't get back into it or something.
Yeah,
like
no,
he gets stuck in limbo.
Forever, but.
I don't like Insidious, bro. I don't mess around with horror. I like horror movies, but I always regret watching any of the ones that I see. I guess it's just sleep apnea is what it says, I guess.
It happened to Caleb Wilson too, except he saw right over his face like a horse skull.
Bro,
which apparently is something else that people see is like a
and
horse
he
skeleton.
had no idea of that.
I don't think
He watched The Godfather too many times.
He looked it up later, like years later,
Yeah.
or he heard like years later that people saw it, and he's like, "Oh, that's what I saw." It's just interesting
Dude,
stuff.
that's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's spiritual. I think there's a lot of crazy spiritual stuff happening.
I feel like I feel like it does a thing. It's unfair to say like, oh, it's just something we don't. I don't know. It's for me, it's either like science and it makes complete sense, or it's spiritual and it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense. You know what I mean? Like, and then in between, like I don't know what you know what I mean?
It wouldn't surprise me if there is, because believing what we believe, there's like a spiritual realm where spiritual things exist.
Right.
And that makes a ton of sense to me, that it's just like a mirror dimension, like like here amongst us, but we just can't see it.
Yeah, right. Like,
which
there's just
science is
spiritual
starting to
beings
talk
moving
about. Yeah.
through this space.
And it wouldn't surprise me if there's some weird thing in our brains that in that between waking and sleeping sort of situation, it taps into it a little bit.
Oh, bro.
Because I mean, okay, so
because you're in your most vulnerable state. Oh my goodness.
So
that gave me chills, bro.
it's
not
not
very interesting.
It's not ayahuasca. It's what's the DMT? So your brain produces. So people take DMT as a drug, a produced drug.
Yeah.
And they get these crazy other dimensional trips,
Right.
where they see like spiritual beings and like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And your brain actually produces DMT.
Yeah. Naturally. All by itself.
So it's not crazy to me to think that like, and there's people who have become Christians after these like drug trips because they're like, it's evil. And like they're like, it's spiritual, it's evil.
I've seen that too.
So it wouldn't surprise me if DMT does get you through the door into the spiritual realm to some degree. And then if that's true, then our brains have that capability on its own, even though it's a much smaller dose.
Which is why a lot of people say that doing yoga or like a really, really intense, deep, like 2-day meditation will get you into that DMT like high state, because you're just like so in. Next, Back to the Root podcast, doing DMT. Tune in.
Or we just stay up for 2 days
We're
straight.
just drooling on each other. Like, oh my goodness, I wouldn't stay up for 2 days straight. That'd be awful.
I feel like, though, if you guys have time, we could segue into the
let's do it.
The deliverance thing. So, Jared, you want to share the context?
Yeah, because that kind of relates, right? If we're talking about spiritual worlds, it relates to kind of what my small group's been talking about a lot. And I'm kind of like, I grew up in a church that didn't really talk about, like I grew up going to church, but we didn't really talk about like demons or like casting out demons or even healings or any really supernatural things. It wasn't that those were like not true or didn't happen. It was just kind of like,
it wasn't the forefront.
Right. It was like, well, we're here to like model the way of Christ, which was just kind of like live by the scriptures and do the practices and join a community that's built up so you can care for each other, and then obviously focused on the gospel, which is obviously the message of Christ, and so not as much the works of Christ as far as the healings and the things he did. So in my small group, that's not to say anything against my church. I think it was awesome, and So this is the question basically in my small group. We're talking about deliverance ministry, and a lot of interest in some of these topics has risen, and then like people kind of going down these little rabbit holes of like, you know how you do with anybody, like when you start listening to somebody, you kind of like go down the rabbit hole of YouTube, like to see all of their content. And so now I'm like asking those questions, like, okay, what is deliverance? And one, like I've always believed that demons are real, and then that they can be cast out of people.
Right.
I mean, there's like the Catholic Church does that, like their exorcism is like a thing. And it seems fairly like it's falsifiable. Like it's true.
Yeah.
Like there are plenty of stories of it. So basically, I'm just like asking about it in a Christian context. But yeah.
Well, the Catholic Church, I went down a rabbit hole listening to a podcast called The Exorcist Files.
Oh, right.
Which is true stories of Catholic exorcisms. And I learned through that they the Catholics are extremely, like, they vet the person. So like if somebody comes to them and like, I need to be exorcised, or I know somebody who needs to be exorcised, they have multiple like counseling sessions leading up to it to make sure
before they even get there,
before they even do the exorcism.
Really?
So it's like they're very careful that this is actually a spiritual thing. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? And then also based off of that podcast, I started thinking, I always thought the Catholics completely had it wrong, like just Christianity, their faith in general.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're like casting out demons better than anybody else, so they must be doing something right. And then recently, I remembered the verse too. So, it says that,
yeah, I was about to bring
like on the day of the Lord, people will, see God, and God's telling them, where they're going to go, heaven or hell. And he's going to be like, depart from me, I never knew you. And they're like, but Lord, like we cast out demons in your name.
Healed in your name. And there's
and
multiple things.
And they're still not true followers.
I never knew you is what it says.
Like,
yeah.
That's really interesting, because then again, maybe the Catholics still don't have the core basics,
That's exactly
but they
what
still
I'm
have the
wondering,
ability to do
which makes me
the
think
Lord's work.
Is like Jesus's name is the power to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Is his name, does it have power, and it's a tool on its own that anybody can use,
regardless of your belief system,
regardless of
interesting.
What you really believe, like, which I don't know.
That is crazy. Yeah.
And I heard it in this book I was reading. It was just a life story of a Christian guy who was from Armenia, and he was kind of in the Pentecostal movement, like, and so healings and those type of things. He was running this conference. A speaker came in and was he just was constantly talking about the money and was like, hey, when do we take a collection, and like how much do I get, sort of thing. And then the last night they were like, hey, you don't really get a cut, like we pay you separately, like for that reason, because all the money goes towards mission or like ministry stuff. And then the speaker was like, on the last night, he just like unwarranted, like just started calling out saying, hey, if you want God to move, you have to give first. And then he just starts taking a collection like without telling anyone.
Oh my goodness.
And like this was years ago. Like this was like 20, 30 years ago. But probably 30 or 40 actually. But anyway, so this guy like takes a giant collection, basically grabs all the money and just goes, dude. Just leaves, puts it in a duffel bag, like literally in the back, And the guy that's writing the book, from his perspective, he's like, it was terrible. And I just went back there to stop him. But he felt like the Lord was saying, like, don't. He said, don't touch my anointed, is what he said. And that's the same words that David basically had that perspective towards Saul in the Old Testament. Mm-hmm. Saul was king, but God had disowned him, right? He said, you're not going to be my king anymore because you disobeyed me. You didn't like follow my way. Mm-hmm. And David was already anointed to be the next king, but David didn't ever threaten Saul. Saul, because like he knew that his responsibility was to honor those that God had put in place, and that his time would come. And so I'm bringing this back to what you're saying, because I think that even if God blesses people with like a power over demons or over, to heal, we can always take what God gives and mistreat it. Like, I think I think more so it's less of like a generalized Jesus name has power, but maybe I don't know. That's a good question. But I think it maybe is more of, you genuinely started with the right heart, or you had, like, God did bless you with that thing. But just because he blesses you with a gift doesn't mean you know him,
Yeah.
Because you could, I mean, he
Or
could do
not
that, right?
know how to properly apply that gift to your.
Yeah. I don't know. That was the thought I was thinking through.
So I have some things to talk about deliverance specifically, which is what you were originally talking about.
Yeah, you're right.
Like demons casting out of Christians sort of thing.
Yeah.
Did you have anything?
I'm
Okay.
listening.
So
Yeah,
my
go for
parents got into the whole deliverance thing.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe 10 years ago.
What do y'all? What do you mean?
Yeah,
when
give
you're saying-
context to that.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you're saying
I
deliverance,
guess you will with this story. So.
Okay, so from what I understand, which isn't a whole lot, but from what I understand, there's demon possession and demon oppression. So demon possession, if you are a true believer in Christ, you cannot be possessed by a demon. I'm sure that there's like
There's different schools of
verses
thought on
that
Yeah, probably arguments to be said.
I
about
don't
it.
know them, but that's like
No, that's fair.
generally what I think is believed. You can't not be possessed by a demon if you are a follower of Jesus, but you can be oppressed by demons if you open yourself and your heart to those spirits, and that could be something as simple as like
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people think that yoga is a gateway.
A lot of like Eastern mysticism things, or
Yeah.
or any of those type of things that has a context of spirituality to it.
Yeah.
Right. Ouija boards, tarot
Eastern,
cards.
yeah. I mean, yeah, other countries around the world too. But anyway, keep going.
So there's and the Bible talks about like breaking down strongholds and stuff in people's lives in the context, from what I understand, in the context of like in a Christian's life, there are strongholds that the enemy has set up in their life that God can bring down.
Right. That seems pretty plain in Paul's language,
Right.
like in the scriptures.
So essentially what this deliverance thing is it's casting off these oppressing demons or these strongholds in people's lives. So if somebody's, I don't know, maybe if like a Christian is struggling with sexual sin or something like that,
Yeah.
like that's opening the door, and then these like spirits can have like this stronghold in their life, and it becomes harder and harder to shake the sin. That's just an example. It could be any sin. So then this, like, essentially it is, I've seen one of my parents' friends does it like his full-time ministry is deliverance.
Yeah,
And it
a
was
lot
at
of
one
people do
point,
it.
he's like, hey, can you edit a video for me? And he did like one of these deliverance things over like a Zoom call. And he's like, hey, just edit out like when they say these names. So, and I watched it happen, and it is like an exorcism, like what you would imagine an exorcism
Right.
is.
Like they do weird, your body does funky things.
Yeah,
Like
and, like,
their
your
body does weird things.
voices change,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I don't know how legit it was.
That's what I don't either, because I've seen so many of those videos like from different
Right.
people. But
Maybe this can shed some light. So if you go back to episode 1 of Back to the Roots, you can actually hear me tell this story there. So
nice.
go back and
Throwback.
listen. So around the same time my parents started getting into this, I have a friend named Than who lives up in Wisconsin.
Okay.
And he was at the time a newer Christian as of the 3 years leading up to it.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like on fire and stuff like that. And he's getting into the same stuff my parents are as far as this deliverance stuff goes. And we're just playing, I don't know, like Warzone or something one day. And we're just on Discord, and he's like, just randomly, like, hey, he was going to come visit me in a couple months. And he's like, I don't really know like what this means, sort of thing. But like, I just kind of had a vision the other day of like me like praying for you. And like, I can't remember if he said something was going to happen or not, but he's like, so like when I come down to visit, I just want to like, I want to pray for you. And I was just like,
Cool.
I'd heard this kind of from my parents,
Oh, okay.
like the whole deliverance thing. And I kind of knew that's what he was talking about. And I'm like, my heart sank a little bit because I'm just like, oh, this sounds really cringe and awkward. And
Sure.
like
right.
my parents had invited me to conferences where this was like a thing, and I intentionally don't go because I'm like, this is uncomfortable and weird.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, whatever. And we keep playing video games. He comes down a couple months later, and I still live with my parents at the time. So him and I, we go to bed. We're sleeping in the same room. I'm like on a futon. He's in a bed, and we're just laying there, talking.
Yeah.
The lights are
Like
off,
you do, yeah.
and we're just talking about whatever. and we start talking about spiritual stuff, and when we talk about his vision thing, and he's like, do you want me to, he's like, we can do that now if you want. I'm just like, okay,
Might as well.
sure.
Yeah, right.
So I swing my legs over. I'm sitting there in my underwear, just like with my feet on the floor, sitting on the edge of the futon. He comes over. Lights are still off. Like there's some ambient light from whatever, but it's like the lights are off. He like starts praying for me. I don't remember everything he was praying. Right. I think he may have put his like his hand on my shoulder or something like that. And just started like, again, I don't remember what he was praying. I remember at a certain point, I was like kind of confessing some things from my past, which I hadn't like kept them locked up.
But he was like asking about those things?
I don't
okay,
remember.
You don't remember. Yeah.
But he was like, I think he rebuked some things specifically. And I'm a skeptic kind of at this point.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, we probably did this for like 15 minutes. My body started shaking.
Yeah.
Which was weird. Like I wasn't like cold, and it was like bigger shakes. It wasn't just shivers. It was like bigger shaking. So my body started shaking. Yeah. And at a certain point I noticed there was a tightness in my gut. And that tightness slowly over a few minutes worked its way up, like through my through my body, through my chest, and then it settled in the back of my throat, almost like a little bit of a gag reflex. Yeah. And it was there for a little bit, and then I started dry heaving, just like, and I like did that a few times, and I hadn't eaten anything weird.
That's crazy, dude.
I did not feel nauseous at all leading up to it. And it kind of after that happened, he's like, all right, I'm like going to go get some stuff to like make sure you're okay. So he walks over to the bathroom, which is really close, flips on the lights. I can't remember if he told me right then or it wasn't until the next day, but he said, I saw like a volume come out of you. Like he went to go clean it up. There was nothing on the floor. I didn't actually throw anything up.
But he saw it in the dark.
He said like in the dark, in the ambient light or whatever, he said he saw like a volume come out of me.
Okay.
And the next morning, we're sitting around the table, and he had already been up for a bit. He talked to my parents, kind of let them know what happened. And we all kind of felt like there was still some unfinished kind of things. Like there were still some things that were like had a hold on me that I didn't want to have a hold on me.
Interesting.
So we kind of had another little session, some similar stuff as like my body was shaking. I didn't dry heave or anything that dramatic again. And you can like take that for what it is, that whole experience. But the biggest, more affirming thing for it was Than had come down that weekend to actually go to a men's retreat with my dad and I. Yeah. So he was at our house that night. And then the next day we were going to be leaving to go to this retreat. And we went on this retreat, and I felt more at peace. Like it was like there was this incredibly deep peace that I had. Yeah. That I had never felt before. And then like I remember reading my Bible on the retreat or right before we got there and getting like a really clear like God spoke to me through a psalm in a way that he hadn't it was it was one of the first times I'd read a verse and felt like he spoke to me very clearly from the Bible. And it was just like, it was that peace, and it was that him speaking to me after all this happened that like, okay, I think something may have been legit about it.
That's so interesting, man. I mean, yeah, those are the stories. Like I have friends that have gone through very similar things and have felt that. And so that's why it's like, well, one, you can't deny like that experience happened. I don't know what made it happen. You know, we can question those things and we can have a conversation about it, but.
And I have questioned them.
right. I'm sure. And I'm like, and I am questioning them, but it's like also a big part of me wants to just be like, no, it's all fake. But it's like, it's not, in the sense that, I don't know, at some level, there is some reality to it because of what you experienced, my friends experience. There is joy that's found in it. And it's never, well, I shouldn't say never ever, but it's very interesting, and that's cool to hear. What's your thoughts, Carter?
I don't know.
You haven't
I feel
really
like I've never
this stuff?
Huh?
You haven't really heard about deliverance like as a ministry.
Well, I mean,
or
I
as
have.
like-
I just didn't understand that I guess I didn't understand when you guys said deliverance that was the context in which you all were like referring to. But like,
Yeah, I got you.
I wish I've never experienced that in my own life or anybody else's like near or around me. Like my dad has a few stories that are very similar to that. Whenever he would travel on. My dad traveled with like a choir, like a gospel choir. Have you seen my dad? He doesn't ever look
No,
like
he's-
somebody who would be in a gospel choir.
He's a trucker, right?
Yeah,
And
he's
he
a trucker.
looks like a trucker.
My dad used to have a mullet and wear a suit and a tie. Like he used to, you know
Singing
what I
in
mean?
the
Like he
gospel
was
choir.
real Baptist and he would travel with this church and he has a few stories about that.
Yeah.
Where they would like cast out demons from people in the audience. But like I think what you said too, you said you're such a part of you is such a skeptic, which is so hard for me because I feel like I'm majoritarily like so skeptical of all these things. Not because I'm not believing in not because I'm not believing that it could happen, because like I have such doubt in people and like attention seekers or like people who make up stories, which is also in its own light, that's very unhealthy for me to like immediately assume like maybe you have like, you know, a backdoor like agenda to like maybe you're just telling this story because people are like you know that people like to hear it, so that's unfair of me to think. So when I hear these stories, like it's very interesting to me, and I do believe them. Like that is completely possible because of all these things that I already believe, so it's unfair for me to throw it all away. So I fight with that all the time, like whether or not, like I don't know, like I fight with that. It's hard. Like even you guys, I'm sure you guys don't believe every single story, stuff like that.
No,
hear.
yeah, exactly.
But like I also can't doubt that it is true, especially when I'm hearing from like reliable sources or people who I know personally. Like those are things that I believe. But like when you see stuff like on the internet of like people telling similar stories, I'm like, you got 3,000 upvotes on your Reddit post or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like a bunch of people went to
but that's unfair for me to throw it away.
A bunch of my friends just recently went to this conference in Chicago. I didn't go, but it was like a deliverance conference, right? And it's talking all about that. And many of the speakers there, I've had, like, I didn't know about them, but I kind of, as they've done that, basically as they went to that, I saw the speakers and I kind of watched some of the conference online, and I was just like, oh, I wonder what these people teach outside of this. And so I did a little bit of like watching of their own stuff, and it just seems like, so multiple of the speakers there, like the one guy has a book, and it's like, it seems he's kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't seem
Does it seem more
accurate one to like scripture. Like there's definite contradictions, not just the fact that like, because when you talk about can a Christian have a demon in them, I don't know, there's not necessarily like one verse that says that exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are verses that have arguments for one side of the argument, and then there's verses that people use for the other side of the argument. I still lean towards no, because you have the Holy Spirit fill you. And but anyway, so my friends have been kind of in all this, and I'm like, well, okay, so I don't like the guy who spoke at the conference, but that doesn't mean like God can't do something there.
True, right?
Or that something spiritual didn't happen there.
Right.
Like, yeah, like we said with the verse earlier, it's like Jesus at the end of our lives, like when we come before him, it's not about the thing, like not about the demons we cast out or the things we've healed or the, you know, it's about, did we know him? And so I don't know.
It's so interesting. I love hearing, and that's the other thing is I'll never not want to hear like one of those stories, because I know what I'm hearing is truth, but in me is like I want to. I don't know if it's something that I was taught by like the people who I surround myself with, like saying, oh, like, or like even like the smallest of details, even with the people who I work right now, like talking about how like who I've like people who I've prayed with or people who have prayed for me and that like has really benefited me, and I'll hear something like, oh, so you guys closed your eyes and she said someone said some words and automatically you felt better. It's like, well, yeah, if you word it like that, it sounds like obviously, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, and that's me getting it received as opposed to giving it, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm getting, like it does seem, I don't know. It's a different thing. I don't know how to explain it, but it's so interesting. And I love hearing all kinds of stuff about it because I do believe it is truth. But then something in the back of my mind says, "Oh, sort through it because some of these are lies." But like, then
this is kind of one of the reasons. I don't know that I'm like called to missions specifically, but I would like to go to other countries where like the spiritual side is a lot more prevalent.
Yeah, and it's not so alien.
I think it would shake us up a lot because we're sitting here talking about like, can Christians in the United States have, you know, demons like possessing them? And it's like, we've never actually seen a demon oppression.
Right.
I don't really, is it possible? Sort of stuff. But like, if you're over in other countries, like,
bro,
that's just a part of reality.
they're like, bro, there's like witch doctors who are like communing with the devil, sort of stuff. It's just like, it's so real.
It's a part of it. It's a part
and
of
it's
your
real
life
here
all the
too,
time.
but it's just masked.
Yeah, it is.
Well, and that's what with you're talking about like the dreams and those things like at night. Like that's might be just like our area of where like we're interacting with
Very
that because
true.
I have friends that grew up in Africa as missionaries.
Yeah.
And dude, and their mom grew up in Africa doing the same thing, and their grandpa did this like same. So like 3 generations in the same country, like growing up there, and basically they would see different towns would have like, oh, there's a demon down by the river, and people have seen it, and it chases people. Like it's like
Crazy.
legit, and it's not just like, oh, it's a folklore sort of thing.
It's a part of
It's
your
like,
life.
oh, that guy, like Steve, just got chased by it last week. Like, I know
Holy
his name's
moly.
Steve, but,
Yeah,
you know, and so like their stories, crazy stuff
yeah.
with the witch doctors and stuff too.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
There's a world out there, man.
There's a whole world out
So
there.
interesting. I soak everything up like a sponge. Like I love hearing all those stories, regardless of anything.
I wonder what your brother would. I wonder what your brother would think of that. All that.
My little bro,
Yeah.
he's even more than me.
Bro, we got to get, he could be our
Bro,
fourth.
he's gotta
We're
be
trying to
on.
nail
He
down
could.
Cameron and Ben. We should try to get him
I
on.
thought about that.
Yeah, he'd come along,
That'd be
especially if
fun.
I was here. He's definitely less like doesn't talk as much because he's such a he's such more of a listener. I don't know how to explain it, but with all that nerds, like I call that nerding out, like about like spiritualism like that. Like he geeks out about it, and I love talk. He's one of my favorite people to talk to stuff about that. He's one of my favorite person to talk with stuff like that about.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious,
okay,
what are
fine.
you doing?
Let's just here. Do you want? No, it's okay.
You broke
No,
it.
it's fine. It's I think you have to unscrew it completely to get the battery.
Oh
in.
my goodness, Jared.
We can actually wrap it up there. I think
Top roof.
we're at like an
Okay.
hour and a half, so
Oh,
you
actually?
can't see Carter's face anymore, but that's all right.
Carter's here. We love him.
I'm here.
Carter's here.
I'm around. I'm amongst and within.
One final fun thing that we can end on. Oh, kind of fun, kind of sad. You remember Ray Gun, the breakdancer?
Yeah. Oh no.
She has officially completely retired from breakdancing because of the backlash
Ray Gun. Oh, from the Olympics?
from the Olympics.
Oh.
Dude. Like she's done.
Thank
She's
goodness,
done.
bro. What a
Bro,
poser.
she's had to have like mental health stuff
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
like whatever. Like she
Rest of her
took
life.
it.
Blah, blah.
She took it hard.
Who hasn't?
So she's
You dance bad, bro. Get over it.
she's done.
That's so
Dude,
awful. That's super sad.
That's sad for her, but I hope she finds something that
Is
she
completely
loves.
different.
And
Yeah.
that is different.
Hope she
you know?
finds something totally different. I hope she's never on the Olympics again. I'm just kidding. I thought she did more than I could ever do. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's been a good time.
It has been good time. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to like,
Oh,
subscribe.
camera's not even on me.
Camera's not on you. You can hop into my angle if you want.
Yeah,
Carter
come on
sliding
over.
in. There you go. There's your head.
Yeah, you're
There you go. See you guys next time.